This is your weekly trip to paradise, Louisiana style, with Gary Risponi and Don Dubuque. Paradise, Louisiana is presented by Farm Bureau Insurance, Demco, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative, Pods, Moving and Storage, solved. Baton Rouge Coca-Cola Bottling Company, Benny's Car Wash and Oil Change, Louisiana Fish Fry Products, and by CCA Louisiana and the CCA Louisiana Star Tournament.
Welcome to another edition of Paradise, Louisiana. And Don, we let the ducks in the west and the coastal zone are gone right now.
Well, the ducks aren't gone. The season's over. The duck hunting is ended, but not the ducks. They're still around, and they are happy ducks right now.
You think they're happy ducks?
I know they're happy.
I didn't get to hunt my lease because there wasn't no water, and I didn't want to take a chance. But we got one more week in the east zone, and this past weekend was great. All the reports I got, Highway 71, Port Barry, Highway in the Southwest is all good in the duck report. So I don't know.
Deer report's good too, and we still got a lot of areas. My area's got the primitive weapons, comes after the rut and the rifle season. So there's still some time to get out there and put some venison in the freezer.
You know all the bass that were being caught over there in the southeast?
Yeah.
You know, around Train, Hogan Canal.
You ruined it, huh? You went over there and shut it down, huh?
And you believe that?
Oh yeah, I can believe
Not
it.
Not one fish. I fished from 10 o'clock in the morning to about 12:30, 1 o'clock.
You know, some people say the most important information they get on the show is where you're going to be, because they go the other way, figuring that that's got to be better.
You know, just before the freeze, my buddies and them were catching 3 lemons. They're keeping 20, the llamas, and went, and they didn't blame me though. They just said, you know, it's a title. I talked to Jeff Brewer. Brewer said the same thing. He said, you know, Gary, I had it done. That's the way that area is. It's tidal. Sometimes it's bad. The water was clear. You could see down in certain areas. So we'll do that in the fishing report. And done. That's it. We got another thing from Chaz. We got a long hunting report. The deer again. That cold weather. Yeah, we got some beautiful deer coming out.
And we got a few fishing reports. Boy, last week was really tough. We didn't get anything because of the big deep freeze. But, you know, this weekend a lot of people got out and did some fishing. Not some of them doing very good, but some doing pretty good. Even had some good offshore stuff.
But we got so many tournaments and rodeos coming up right now, and starting already next week in January, all through February and up to March. So we're going to try to give you an update. One report I'm getting right now is Chinquapin, lake runners. Even before the freeze right there,
important one.
But down in the marsh, Bar Black and everything, this is a hot time for that part of the marsh to be catching fish, bass and Chinquapin. So,
all right, so we got all that coming up for you. We're at Bergeron's new location in Gonzales, right next door to Cabela's. Stop on by for lunch or get your party materials right here at Bergeron's. Cajun Boudin and Meats, where you're watching Paradise, Louisiana.
Stay tuned for more Paradise, Louisiana. Voted Best of Louisiana Outdoors 3 years in a row.
Okay, Brett, safety and car insurance.
Never scored a safety. That's defense. But go on, please.
Yeah, defensive. That's exactly how you should drive.
There is no such thing as a defensive drive. Offense makes the drive.
Oh, I mean when you're on the road.
But it doesn't matter, home or away.
Okay, clearly I'm striking out here.
That's baseball.
Get great auto rates from Farm Bureau Insurance. Call your agent today.
Pause moving and storage.
We just sold our house.
Congratulations.
We have 2 weeks to move.
We'll deliver a few containers.
Our new home's not ready.
No problem. You can store things with us while you're between homes.
We might need help.
We'll refer trusted packers.
We'll be staying at my brother's.
Well, that sounds...
He has kids of his own.
Well...
5 of them.
Ma'am?
Help.
Trust us for local and long-distance moving and store at our storage centers. Pods, moving and storage, solved.
Welcome back to Paradise, Louisiana. Today we're at Bergeron's Boudin Cajun Meats. And speaking of meats, venison. Been a lot of venison coming in. By the way, you can get deer processed at Bergeron's. Do they do it at this Gonzales location or only at the one in Port Allen?
No, I think it's just all of them. And he was just telling me, I talked to him yesterday, and he went on a deer hunt. He said they rolling in right now. All the stores, they rolling in, deer processing deer, making good sausages and mixing them with pork and everything else. And I just imagine making me hungry just to watch.
Well, you know, I get all my deer professionally processed. You enjoy it so much more when it's trimmed, all the glands are removed properly. It's just such a much more enjoyable product when you can get it processed.
Who was your buddy used to do it? He used to make us hot tamales. And
That's Pete Javenko, Deer Depot in St. Rose, and Pete is retiring after this season. He's closing it down, and boy, am I going to miss that. The Cajun po' boys.
You're going to have to start coming over here.
Yeah, well, I've got another processor in mind. There's a lot of good ones out there, and maybe we could let people email us and tell us what their favorite venison dish is. How do they, because now they got the burritos and the venison tacos, and a lot of people like the ground meat. They make a venison meatloaf.
Make the best chili around.
Oh, you can't beat a venison chili. It's good, it's lean, and it mixes well with other things. So send that, Gary at Paradise, Louisiana. Tell us what your favorite venison menu item is. And now we're going to tell you about some people who, if you hear these names, they got some. So if you know them, give them a call and you might get some venison if they're generous with you.
Yeah, and then top of the list is Beverly Corbella. Beverly was worked for the DA's office for many years in Plaquemine and on the west side. Her and her husband Bud have been having a hunt now for a couple of years. She killed a big buck over there in the Plaquemine area. Congratulations, Beverly, and you and Bud are blessed to have each other. Y'all like the outdoors, y'all like to travel. Hope you enjoy your retirement. Magnolia Retreat, my brother and them up there in Mississippi, right there north of Woodville. His grandson, and he was in the blind with him. His grandson James killed a big deer. You see the size of these racks? His son-in-law Nathan Reed killed a big one last week. But it's the management. It wasn't a lot of points. It was an 8 and a 9 point. But look at these pictures and see the size of these racks. You know, it's all about being management. My nephew,
exactly.
Matt, has been helping them. They're doing a management system. They work with the wildlife and fisheries in Mississippi, and everywhere they're doing things. They're planting the right kind of food plots, and them hills. I always said you get the bigger deer from St. Francisville and that area.
Well, it's nutrients in the soil too. That has a lot to do with it, nutrition. You know, and not just putting corn or whatever other feed you want to feed them. It's what's naturally in the soil. I tell you what, a good white oak acorn crop, they will step over a mile of corn to get the good white oaks because they sense what's in it. They know, they can sense it. And it gives them that nutrition and it promotes antler growth, body weight.
You know what I always thought too, and I've been squirrel hunts up there in St. Francisville in Mississippi when them hills. And I mean, at the end of the day, you can't hardly stand it, but it'd be like athletes running the bleachers. These deer are strong. They're running up and down these hills, and they're doing it in the bottom.
They get a workout.
And so I don't know what it is, but these are some beautiful. Congratulations. Thank my brother Eddie for sending that. Chad Thibodeau, Alex, first buck, 8 point, 165 pounds.
Great start.
140 yards. He goes to St. Alphonsus School to kill in Vidalia. Morgan LeBlanc from Irvinville, 175 pound deer, 10 point, Point Capee Parish, 7mm 08. There's another one. I'm getting more reports, people telling what they're hunting with. Look at this pretty girl. She'll be hunting the rest of her life. Whoever she dates or whoever her boyfriend is, they better get ready to take them in the woods. Viola Cosgrove, first buck, 190 pound, 9 point. That's in Mississippi. Hunting on her Uncle Sonny's property. Trip Mancuso, 8 point, family land in Port Gibson, Mississippi. He had killed an earlier one. He had killed a big 6 point. You know, the big deer, widespread, just like this one. Another one, 7mm 08. So that's the deer reports I have. And they coming in. Some of them came in late. We ran some late last week, and we didn't have the report. So we might run them again. So
well, these last few days of the deer season, this is when your really good deer hunters turn out. You know, it's archery season or it's primitive weapons, means you got to get closer. The deers that are still around, there's the survivors, they're educated, they're tougher to hunt. The vegetation's down, you don't have as much cover. And most of the areas now, the rut is over with. Some of them have a secondary rut, and that'll help you. But for the most part, it's some really tough hunting these last few days of the season.
The primitive weapon hunters right now, you know, they're getting ready to start, and they're going to have a few weeks to close it out. What's the big difference, like you were saying about the leaves on the trees and then no much cover, but it's got to be about how you approach these deer, right? So
Well,
the first opening of the season, you know, before you get to the gun season, they're not spooky, but now they've been hunted. So it's a bigger challenge to hunt with people with bows?
Absolutely. Well, you got to be closer. You know, number one, your range is limited with archery. Even with a primitive muzzle loader, you don't have the range you've got with a high-powered scoped rifle. So you do have to get closer, which means deer has a better chance of detecting you, either through the scent or if you make movements or make any noise, it's over with. So your real good proficient hunters are the ones that are going to bag these late-season deer.
We need to bring some of these good hunters on. You've been hunting all your life with both, you know. How much late season hunts do you do? You got all these tournaments and rodeos, you're fishing and you're ready. How much did you hunt?
I'm lucky enough to have a lease basically right behind my house, so I can sneak in a little quick hunting there. But I mean, February comes around and the fishing's not the greatest, other than some freshwater activity. Saltwater slows a little bit, so I find my time bird hunting. I do a lot of quail hunting, we do woodcock hunting, and of course rabbit season's in its prime too. So February really is a pretty busy month, but because I don't have to make a long weekend trip, I can sneak in a little late season deer hunt.
Okay, well, that's it. That's all we got on now. Now we're gonna go to ducks.
Yeah, ducks. It came and went for two of our zones, the west zone and the coastal zone. It ended Sunday at sunset. Those ducks that made it, they got another year to hang in there before they get shot at, as long as they stay out of our east zone, because we got another week of that.
I seen 3 or 4 boats coming out, you know, pro drives and stuff coming out over there to Wrigley's, and I wave them down. How y'all did? Yeah, no low water, and I've asked them. Some of them I try to get on camera, and they couldn't hear me, and you know I couldn't hear them. But you know, they have killed a few ducks, but most of the ducks have been ringnecks now. And Big Branch is right across the street from Salt Bayou,
Right.
and I was coming at here covered up with either ringnecks or scaup. Now, I mean, you see little flocks in the water, 15, 20, 30, all up and down Salt Bayou
Yeah, I've
from
seen
the
them.
interstate.
I was there not long ago, and I saw a nice little mess of them. It looked like scarp to me. I don't think they were ringnecks.
Yeah, but they got a real good canvas colored back.
Oh, they're beautiful birds.
It's beautiful. It's almost white. They almost look like a canvasback. It's just a lot of gray, and they bunched up in there. You know, I could hear people shooting in Big Branch from my camp, and when I can hear it, it's close.
By the way, I want to make a point while we're talking about Big Branch and National Wildlife Refuges. I got a phone call from Mike Downey, who is the enforcement chief for U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service for the Southeast Louisiana Refuge System. And he called me late on a Friday night, right before I went on the radio Saturday morning, to let me pass along to duck hunters that even though the government had been basically shut down for the most part because of the budget controversy, unlike last time, they were going to allow those refuges to remain open and people could go in there and hunt, where they shut them down last time. And I think that says a lot about the current administration for, number one, allowing that, realizing that it's the last few days of the season, and until the politicians work out their problems, why deny people access to a hunting area? And we got other reports from other areas outside the refuges, too, that were pretty good as it closed out.
Right, look, in our way, the southeast, southwest, the limits, my family, my brother had his nephews, the Bowen brothers over there, and his son-in-law, David Lett, his son, It was unbelievable. 2 days of hunting this year. They had speckle bellies, they had the limited ducks. So a great report came from the south, from the heap that end. That's the last week over there now. They're in the west zone. But Port Barry, which we got another week coming up, my brother and them ducks showed up late. They weren't having been spotted. People on Highway 71, some people were killing, some people wasn't, but you got a report from Highway 71 up a little further north around Bunkie. This is right off the, Highway 190, just north of 190. Bucky Kessler and them did good. My brother and them in Port Barry, Bayou Catawba, they called it the Port Barry Hilton, where they stay. My grandson, my brother Sammy, and his longtime friend Larry the Straps, they limited out both days, Saturday and Sunday. In fact, Blake was supposed to come, and we were going to go to Delacroix lease, but there was no water. So Blake stayed there, hunted with his uncle, and sent me some great pictures. So congratulations to them, because it was a long time coming. They hadn't been doing good, especially in that field blind. I told you again about Big Branch. I've seen them people shooting. I see them people on kayaks. I couldn't tell what they were shooting. They usually kill a lot of gray ducks there. But I seen it was covered with skulls. It was just everywhere I looked, there's still a lot of gallinules in them floating in that water on the Big Branch side. So again, Buckley Kessler, the way they planted, the way they manage what they do, he all week last week, getting close to the end, they're hunting in a few more extra days, but they were doing great. Every kind of duck you can imagine. They're killing a few mallards, a lot of pintail. My brother and them had a lot of pintail. You can't kill but one, but they all had their limits of pintail. Arkansas got hot again, Don. I had some people over there that were hunting, where we used to hunt in Yorktown and different areas, sending some pictures. Give me a report. They ain't send me no pictures, but they are doing real good in Arkansas again. That cold weather turned them on wherever they were. A bunch of areas in Arkansas they did good. And you've seen some of them pictures they sent last week. There was a lot of snow and a lot of ice, so they did good. And Dawn Johnson and the family sent me a picture. I thought they sent it from Atchafalaya. She says, there's nothing better than a Sunday morning hunt with family. And she sent me this picture. Don't know exactly where they were, but thank you, Dawn, sending that picture. And that's the duck report. We got one more week.
Well, we got the goose to talk about. I got some really good reports from Blues that hunts down in Louisiana on speckle-belly geese. They were covered up. Roland Cortez sent these pictures in of some speckle-bellies up in Arkansas. This has been one of the best speckle-belly seasons in recent memory to me that I can remember. Now, a lot of places don't get them anymore, and maybe that's why the other places are having a bonanza. When they leave out of some places and don't come back because of habitat changes, that benefits someone else.
They got a lot of studies being done right now.
We're included
my
in Louisiana.
buddies are hunting Arkansas, Wayne Amato and them, and Rick Capo. They went up there and made some good hunts. Them boys they usually hunt ducks with, they showed them how we hunt speckle bellies here. They putting out these full body decoys, and they're calling, good calling, and bring them in all the time, and especially in the area. So that's why they're killing a lot of them in Arkansas right now. But what bothers them is that Arkansas got a 3 goose limit.
Yeah.
Three track, we don't have but 2, and it's because of the studies. Now, if you saw earlier in the year, there's no lack of speckle bellies up in Mer Rouge. No. And up in the northeast part of the state. And I see my brother and them are down in Gaydon. Goose Hunters Unlimited is still killing some speckle bellies. They don't have as many snows and blues as they've been having, but one time they were getting to be a problem. Yeah. Okay, the snow and everything, eating itself out of house and home. We need another study. I like to find out for the people here what's going on.
Yeah, that's still a problem, and you still got some time to get out and hunt speckle-belly geese as well as the snow goose, because that's going to go into the conservation order. Well, it extends all the way into next month. Now, one group that is, unlike me, you, and a lot of the weekend duck hunters that's not really sorry totally to see the duck season go is these guides. If you look and talk to these guys, ones that hunted on a daily basis, this time of the year after a 60-day season, they are wore out. getting up early every morning, staying out in that brutal cold. They
Cleaning
get
birds.
marsh hands from dealing with the mud on the decoys, cleaning birds, and a lot of them do cast and blast. They hunt in the morning and then they fish in the afternoon, so they welcome the rest, but even at that, they still miss it.
Your report from Catahoula is not good.
No,
But
Catahoula
overall,
has had a pretty bad season this
You
year.
talked to Larry Reynolds. We hadn't heard nothing from Blake
Yeah.
Swallow yet. Just for what happened. Blake did a lot of hunting. He got leases all over. He hunted in the Southwest too. So, but Larry Reynolds says that when he looks at the overall picture, and we got one more week, Catahoula was really down. So.
All right,
That's it.
that's our hunting report. We'll be right back with more. You're watching Paradise, Louisiana.
Here's how I guarantee my crawfish tastes great every time. I use Louisiana Fish Fry brand seafood boil. Why do the pros use Louisiana Fish Fry seafood boil?
Because the flavor is so good.
It has more garlic, onion, paprika, lemon, and not too much salt.
It has much better flavor.
Louisiana Fish Fry brand seafood boil. Find the yellow bag and pour and boil for great crawfish every time.
For the thirsty, for those who hang out in packs, for heroes, for sidekicks, for those who see the glass half empty, for those who see it half full, for those on the right, for those on the left, for those with nicknames, for those with curves, for people that cycle, for people that recycle, for BFFs, for frenemies, for those with style, for lovers, for families, for big families, for everyone.
Pause moving and storage.
We just sold our house.
Congratulations.
We have 2 weeks to move.
We'll deliver a few containers.
Our new home's not ready.
No problem. You can store things with us while you're between homes.
We might need help.
We'll refer trusted packers.
We'll be staying at my brother's.
Well, that sounds...
He has kids of his own.
Well...
5 of them.
Ma'am?
Help.
Trust us for local and long-distance moving and store at our storage centers. Pods, moving and storage, solved.
And welcome to the H&H Tournament and Rodeo Report. And Gary, we got some results and we got some upcoming events to talk about.
Upcoming, because the results first is the Junior Southwest Bass Masters. They had their tournament at Dry Run. Tough conditions. This is the first time I've ever seen it. Some of the winners had one fish. One fish would weigh in 2 and 3 pounds. They took first place. And first place in the 15 to 18 was Wyatt Insminger from Pride. He had a 2.33. One bass. He also took big bass with that fish. And then second place was Trace Day from Denham Springs. Third place was Brendan Richard from Walker. And like I said before, big bass with Wyatt Insminger. In 11 to 14, Cage Collins from Zachary had 7.7 pounds. He had 5 bass. Now, he's the only one that did good. He beat the older guys, beat them bad. Caleb Roblin, Denham Springs, had 2 bass at 4.32, and then in third place was Devin Perkins from Watson with 2 bass. Big bass was Caleb Robin with 3.19. And in the 17 years old, we had Blake LeRae from Bruley with 3.8 and 1 bass, and then Noah Roblin from Denham Springs and Jack Vonado rounded out. Big bass was Blake LeRae, 3.87. And then the other division, Brett Sellers from Denham Springs had 7 pounds, 5 fish. Denny Perkins from Watson and Tommy Semino from Zachary round out them. Big bass, Brett Sellers with 2.86. Most of the fish were caught on spinnerbait and flukes, red-eye shad, but tough day for those kids. They usually did good, but look, the 14-year-olds did better than all of them. Did better than the adults and everybody. So congratulations to them. Thank you again, Jim and Cindy Broke. And while I'm talking about high school sports, I got word from Gene Hoover and everything. Bassmasters College Open is this coming weekend, January 25th to 27th. And then the Bassmaster High School Open would be January 28th, all at Cypress Cove at Toledo Bend. So you can go on Toledo Bend schedule and you can see more about them. We got some great tournaments coming up right now. And I'm gonna scroll over here and get Jeff Brewer sent me them things this morning. Let me pull them up here. Thank you to Jeff. I heard him talk about it on your radio. He's keeping up with them too. We got Fishing for Tucker coming up February the 3rd. It'll be right here. The weigh-in will be right here at Cabela's. Captain's meeting would be the Thursday before the event. It's a $100 entry fee. Launches at Doron's, but the weigh-in is at Cabela's. Entry forms will complete. All the rules will be at fishingfortucker.com. February 3rd also, Dockside Team Trail, East Pearl, $160 with a $35 membership fee, adult division plus a high school division. High school entry is $75 plus $20 membership. Anglers Against Autism, the big one, will be coming here, sponsored by Badron, and there'll be a lot of other sponsors will be there. Anglers for Autism is set for March 3rd. And then that's a $200 entry fee. Drawruns launch and weigh-in is at Cabela's. The wild game cook-off and other events during the day and after the weigh-in. Tremendous day, be right here in the Cabela's parking lot. So you'll see that. January 20th is an open event right now coming up this weekend. The East Pearl River down there toward the North Shore at $50. And then they got a REBT Wednesday evening, 4th annual launch, street launch in Covington. Starts at 2, Saturday in February and last Sunday of February. After that time, time changes. They will move to every Wednesday evening, one of the longest running bass tournaments in the state. And then the Pearl River Team Trail starts February 10th at the East Pearl at the Green Bridge. So Jeff Brewer, thank you so much for giving us all that. Thank you. You can also listen to him Outdoors with Don Dubuque on Saturday mornings. Thank you very much.
Got a lot of choices for bass tournament fishermen out there coming up.
All right. I had a kayak tournament. We didn't get in a whole lot of report from it. But when we talk about comment, I'm going to put this on the news right now. Orvis in Baton Rouge, this coming Saturday, there's an event. This PLA, they're going to have every kind of guide or person or fly fishing expert there. They're going to have a whole bunch of times. We're going to run it on the screen and you can see the times that they're going to have different celebrities, different experts on fly fishing. It'll be a big event at Orvis right there in Baton Rouge, right there at the Roseanne. So read what we got here on the screen, and supposed to be a big deal. If you're a fly fisherman, something really good to do. That's it, Don. That's all I got.
All right, we'll be back with more Paradise, Louisiana.
Stay tuned for more Paradise, Louisiana. Voted Best of Louisiana Outdoors 3 years in a row.
Hey y'all, it's Sam Barbera. I'm with the Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries Foundation. The foundation is a nonprofit that raises funds and provides support for the Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries Department. We assist with numerous projects like black bear, whooping crane, bald eagle, as well as family, youth, and women's workshops. For all of the information on the foundation, visit lawff.org. We need your support to help our wildlife and fisheries. Visit lawff.org.
Ask me about my Tempur-Pedic.
Ask me how fast I fall asleep.
Why not talk to someone who's sleeping on the most highly recommended bed in America?
Ask me about staying asleep.
Tempur-Pedic owners are more satisfied than owners of any traditional mattress brand.
Ask me how it feels after 10 years.
Tempur-Pedic, the most highly recommended bed in America.
Ask about Tempur-Pedic at Olin's, where you know you always get the guaranteed low price. Olin's is the only store in Baton Rouge and Lafayette with the full line of Tempur-Pedics.
The best part about being a member of a Touchstone Energy Cooperative is that it's your Touchstone Energy Cooperative. That's the power of your co-op membership.
Demco, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
On this episode of Dockside TV, we are fishing some of the coldest water temperatures we've ever fished around here. But we have found the redfish ganged up. Got another one right here. Get him in the boat. Oh, got him all over the floor. Stay tuned for this episode of Dockside TV. Fishing redfish in the winter, we cover a lot of water as fast as we can, and you're gonna find them grouped up. And when I mean covering a lot of water, this is already the third place we've launched today. So instead of making a launch at one spot and hitting a lot of different areas and covering a lot of water with the boat, we're just simply running and gunning, bouncing, moving. That way we make real short boat rides. We started off in the Chef, launched at 2 different launches in the Chef, checked some places real close to the launch that we know redfish get, didn't see them, and then came and launched in Chalmette, and now we've checked 2 places over here, and on the second stop, we found them pretty ganged up. And that's pretty much the name of the game when very cold. This isn't like your typical, you know, it's a little chilly outside, you need a jacket weather. This is brutal, the coldest Louisiana gets. The temperatures this week they're not even getting out of the 40s. The lows every night are in the 20s. So if you can find the redfish, you're gonna catch them every single day, and they're gonna be ganged up you're gonna catch them one after another, and they're not gonna move until the temperatures rise again. Got a little bit of a rookie mistake right here. We make plenty of mistakes out here. The line got hemmed up in the trolling motor while we were getting the camera ready. So we got plenty of line in the trolling motor, and we doing the old-fashioned reel him on in by hand maneuver. It's very effective. Whoa! And we're about to kill ourselves out here. Hold on here. Oh. But when they're biting like that, it don't matter. Let me try to fix that mess I got right here with another nice red on that Tiger Bait Matrix shad. There he is. Oh yeah, we done found them piled up here. And whenever we fished the Chef this morning, which we cream them in the wintertime over there, I think personally the water was just too cold. As we were reading 35, 36 on a depth finder, which is unbelievable. I mean, that might be the coldest I've ever seen my depth finder read. So I figured let's move south. A, the water's gonna be a little bit warmer by being south. And B, we're playing off of the Mississauga right here, which has 40, 50, 60 foot of water. Now, we're not fishing them that deep, but when it gets down in the 20s again tonight, these fish have a place to hide. Oh, there's another one right there. Another nice solid red. All these reds are pretty cookie cutter, 24s, 23s, 25-inch reds. But I'll hurry up and get in there. I don't know where my My lure went there. Let's hurry up and get another one on. That was about the third or fourth one I caught on that tiger bait. Let's try old Limbo Slice. Color's not very important when you're red fishing in the winter. You find them, you're gonna catch them. Got it on a 3/8 ounce. What I'm doing is I'm coming right off these rocks. I'm throwing in about 3 or 4 foot. When I bring it off, they're hitting in like 5 to 6 foot of water. There he is. It's just that, the hard part's finding them. And nobody likes to look for fish when it's 24 degrees outside. We left this morning at noon on purpose. Stayed in the office at Matrix Shed. Let that wind settle down, let the front try to get all the way through. But at noon, it was 31 degrees. I'm just starting to feel my fingers. Oh, get up here. We're gonna go ahead and tag and release a few fish here, as we got plenty for the grill tonight. Let's go ahead and get the tags out. All right, we're gonna go ahead and tag a couple of these fish. This is tag number 16725. I'm gonna release this fish. Obviously, we're right here in the locks in Chalmette. Recapture this fish and win a prize from matrixshed.com. There he goes. Now let's see if we can get another one real quick. Like I said, you want to catch a lot of redfish really and have a good time, this is the time of year to do it, but you better have some good hunting clothes, some good gear, because you are going to be cold. My fingers right now are a little on the numb side. They're catching reds all over. Another place, if you don't have a boat, that's very well known for catching them when it gets brutally cold like this, is over there in Yoklowski by Shell Beach, Delacroix, Hopedale. They catch them right off the side of the road. You don't even need a boat over there. Got a few spots over here on the off the Pontchartrain basin that we do that also, where we catch them off the bank, that I will be trying this week. But usually one of these spots in Chalmette or the Chef's gonna have redfish pretty stacked up. And it took us a minute to find them today, but now that we found them, we'll be able to catch them like this all week, as it's not supposed to get out of the 40s until Friday this week. We're just simply moving. We got a little stretch of about maybe 50 feet that these reds are really piled up in, just working it right off these rocks. But and although the water temperature's in the 30s, or maybe it's hit 40 today, we're still popping this lure pretty hard. The fish are pretty aggressive. Pretty aggressive. They're just bundled up real tight. So it's a lot of doubles and triples. When you hook one, you're gonna hook 2 or 3 in a row. Then you might go on a little 5 or 10 minute slow period, since the fish are so tightly grouped. There he is. And that's all I do is I'll work a little zone over, and they're gonna get you know, I'll catch 2, 3, 4 in a row, and then they get kind of onto me. They start figuring out that lure is not real, and their buddies are going. And I'll just make another cast, maybe 30, 40 feet to the right, give those fish a break, and then come back to them and catch them like this. We'll go ahead and pop a tag in this one here too. Let me back off the bank so I don't bother these fish here. I mean, they got redfish of all shapes and sizes right here. This is the Bienvenue lock right here. And I can promise you the Violet lock is probably better. But the Violet lock's a solid 5-mile boat ride, and I do not feel like freezing today. Now, if we come back out here tomorrow and they're slow here, I know We should be able to find them at the Violet Lock. Here's tag number 16764. Right on in. Blue matrix tag, call the number on the tag. Recapture that fish and win a prize from matrixshed.com. Let's get one or two more before we end the day here. Got a nice falling tide, and what's happening right here, let's see if you can see it on the camera. The tide's falling out the lock. You can see that current really moving in on the water, but the current peels right through the middle of the channel here, and it blows out all the way out into the Mystic Go. I can see that tide line. I mean, it just pushes out forever. But when you have lock systems like this, tight narrow spots where the tide screams, like if I were to cast over here, that tide would take my line at 100 miles an hour. I'd never touch the bottom. But right here it creates an eddy, and sometimes we call it a back eddy. The tide will be screaming out that way, but it'll eddy and start slipping back this way closer to the bank. And that's where the fish are gonna be. They're gonna be out of the main tide, sitting in the eddy tide, waiting for bait to get blown through this lock system here. There's just no way for them to really stage up in that hard current. It's just it's too much for them. But you just find that sweet spot off the main current line and getting this eddy, and they're gonna be piled up in here. You're never gonna catch one red when it's this cold. Just like fishing around, oh, I caught one, and you're gonna leave it alone and go a quarter mile down the bank and catch another one. When it's like this, if you catch one, milk it, stay right there, drop the anchor, spot lock. I mean, all we're doing basically with the trolling motor is just holding position. Because where there's one, there's plenty. If we can, get this one in the boat. If we can get this one in the boat, we're gonna end it on this episode. On this fish right here, this episode of Dockside TV. Of course, we forgot the net at the office, so the bigger ones have been quite challenging to get in, some of them. And as you saw earlier, we even had to pull one in by hand. I think I can flip this one, I believe. Oh, I don't know. Might go with this. I think I'm gonna try to flip this one. Let me see if I can grab it. We've done broke off 4 or 5. Trying to flip them in. These are a little bit, some of them are a little heavy. 6-7 pounds is about the max we like to flip. Oh, I had it. Oh, my hands are nice and warm. Anyway, again, don't let the weather scare you. You want to catch redfish one after the other. This is the time of year to do it. Just get you some good clothes and gear to wear out here. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Matrix Shed from matrixshed.com of Dockside TV. And we have plenty of videos fishing reds in the freezing cold weather. Make sure to watch them all. Until next time, good fishing. Make sure to stay up to date with all of our Dockside TV episodes. Simply hit the subscribe button right here on your YouTube channel. Stay up to date with all of the action going on around the surrounding areas as we catch multiple species of fish, from trout to bass to redfish, flounder, and even crappie. Make sure to hit the post notification button also, which will allow you to know when our next and freshest Dockside TV episodes are uploaded.
aggressive, modern, and durable. The latest advancement in spinning has the Revo name on it, and almost a century of fishing expertise in it. No matter where your passion takes you, world-class fishing is only a Revo away.
Welcome to the Berkeley Abu Garcia Fishing Report. As I mentioned at the top of the show, fishing report's a little bit easier to get this week, but not all that easy because that cold weather really knocked things back, put fish out of patterns, and everybody had to go back and kind of start over again, mostly saltwater. But freshwater kind of picked up a little bit, and those chinkapin were beautiful. We got the pictures on those.
Oh, yeah. David the Plan and his wife, Angie, I guess, I get this thing from David and Angie. He 2 weeks in a row now, he's been sending me this picture of these chinkapin. They looking for sac-a-lait, and by the way, he run into some people that are still catching sac-a-lait back there, but he says he's not leaving these chinkapin and these goggle eye until they quit biting.
I don't blame him.
He said he sent me a picture of the food. It had them fried up with Louisiana fish fry. So here, I want you
now
to see
tell them where
picture.
it was now.
Yeah, look, he's fishing in Orange Grove.
Okay.
Down below, in Bar Black, you put it to the landing, all kind of landings to put in, especially at Bar Black. So if they biting in Orange Grove, they biting all the way. You got to catch that water moving out. This tidal area, but the sac-a-lait have been on black and chartreuse jig. He talked to some people that was catching under a caught. He's fishing night crawlers or worms. He say he adjusts his weight. It all depends. Sometimes he might be as much as 3 foot. Sometimes he can be 2 foot. He said, but when he gets to right depth, they're in them gravel bottoms or wherever they are right now. The lake runners are there. And they were catching lake runners before I went over there. Off the piers, out in the Wrigley's, people were catching lake runners in there on the bait. So they were doing real good. See my fans, they were waving at me, Don. I don't know what to stop.
They don't know that when we turn this camera off, you got an autograph session that goes on for 30, 40 minutes every week.
Yeah, that's right. Go ahead and lie. I appreciate it.
Hey, look, we're talking about, you call them lake runners, and a lot of people don't recognize that name. They call them shell crackers. Chinkapin's a real popular name. But lake runners, kind of around red ear sunfish is the technical name, but around New Orleans, people know them as lake runners. But I'm telling you, the lake runner population in southeast Louisiana, around the North Shore, Slidell area, even down around the South Shore, some of the places around Manchac where they used to catch them, they're pretty much gone. You don't have very much chinkapin or shell cracker, whatever you want to call them, fishing anymore. And it once was a very popular species there. So when we're telling you about these places around Bayou Black and around the basin, that's where you're going to have to go to get them. And believe me, it's worth the drive.
Remember how popular it was at False River and the flats? People who catch them there. You catch them on grass shrimp. Worms is really the good. When I catch them artificial, we used to fish them on that artificial crawfish.
Yeah.
We put them on the bottom
of a ditch crawfish, live ditch crawfish.
Yeah, and that's some of the best bait. But they like gravel bottoms, sandy bottoms. Maybe that's gone, but it must be coming back now with all these inversions.
It may help them because that's what ran them out, the saltwater intrusion.
Mike Stevenson and them are catching chinkapin with live shrimp off their pier.
Sure.
And if you go to Wrigley's right now, Marina, and you go up and down California, people are feeling they get on these lights. When they turn on in there, they're going to be on the bass and everything. Because I tell you, these boys I fish with, you can see me running all over the marsh. I'm showing you the camps. I'm shooting video of all these guys fishing and the background, how low the water was. I went in, the name of the little canal came by you. We're back in there, went all over back there by Highway 11 Bridge, where we've been catching fish and people catching bass, and then get a strike. We couldn't find them nowhere. I seen 1 or 2 redfish in shallow water, couldn't get a strike.
Bayou Lacombe, that's another good spot.
That's right. Right now they're catching them. You need to go by
Bayou Adventures.
You took my Bayou Adventures and asked them right now where these fish are biting. So they're in that area. So I'm sure the panfish gonna turn on any day. It's been real cold, but it's cold at Orange Grove, and these guys are still catching fish. So what else that's the only ones I got.
Yeah.
I know Toledo Bend.
Yeah.
The cold weather, I've been getting some good reports from there. People fishing deep, though. They're fishing 25, 30 foot deep. Right now, they're in bass on the spoons. They digging, they drop shotting. So they fishing deep water, but they're catching fish.
I'll tell you another fish that for this time of the year they're showing up is catfish. And they're deep, but they're catching them on duck livers, chicken livers, some of those areas around the Chef. Lake Pontchartrain, full of big blue cats this time of the year. They're going to be out of there as soon as the salt water starts coming in. You get a little into the late spring and summer months, but right now you can pick up some really nice catfish there. Man Shack, another place too.
That's it. I was there. Come on, warm weather, but we got another cool front coming. But thank God it's a cool front and not what we've been having. There was some water lines busted everywhere over there.
Yeah, camps.
These live shrimp right now hard to come by. It's hard. It's expensive to keep these tanks warm. So a lot of the people I know around the North Shore, when they're talking to them, Miss Angie and them, they still getting reports. By the way, I want to thank Miss Angie and her husband David. They come fix a little broken water line at my camp. They had one of them I didn't drain. His copper line had busted. Can't stop you enough. I see they advertise on your radio show too. Miss Angie, keep it going over there. Island Marina, y'all been a blessing to me for sure.
What'd you hear on saltwater?
Well, everything I hear is down in Leeville.
Highway 1 Canal?
Oh, yeah. Them boys are still catching fish. I don't care how cold it is. I did get one report. Somebody said they had a fish killed in Cocodrie.
I also heard of a mullet kill along the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, but outside of those few things, so far it looks pretty good.
No more, but somebody sent me a picture of a bunch of dead fish. They looked more like shad than they did anything. But it came from the Cocodrie area.
And there was some good redfish reports. People were saying that when you find them, they were just chock-a-block in there. You know, for some reason that cold weather congregated them and hadn't really had a chance to spread out. By now we've had a little bit of change, so that may be all.
I think the biggest problem, Don, is what you said before. I think people stay by that heater and try to keep their water running and try to just survive the last few days.
All right.
And that's it.
All right, offshore, not too many good reports. There are some tuna being caught. The lump, which is the real popular spot off the Louisiana coast this time of the year, has not really turned on with a lot of fish. I did get a report of a nice 80-pound wahoo that was caught. That's some encouraging. And the thing you got to deal with this time of year is the fronts. You got to fish before them or back end of the fronts, because when that southeast wind starts sucking, the seas crank up, and then right after it switches around to the northwest, you're dealing with the same thing. But in between those times, can be some really good fishing offshore.
Somebody, please tell me what happened to me Sunday. Don't say the black cloud, because I didn't see that many boats there. Some people didn't go. I seen one guy fishing, and he had 3 big bass. I took a little video of him talking to me. He held up a bass. It was a chunk, but he said he caught it in Salt Bayou. That's right at my camp. So.
All right, remember to send your pictures and your reports, Gary at Paradise, Louisiana. If you're taking pictures with your cell phone, take it in a horizontal position. Fits our screen so much better.
And Sackler and Pearl River, too.
Don't forget those. And we'll see you next week with another edition of Paradise, Louisiana.
Paradise, Louisiana is presented by Farm Bureau Insurance. Demco, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative. Pods, moving and storage solved. Baton Rouge Coca-Cola Bottling Company. Benny's Car Wash and Oil Change. Louisiana Fish Fry Products. And by CCA Louisiana and the CCA Louisiana Star Tournament.